me. Shall I share the screen?
Yes, sir. Sir?
I share the screen now.
Share ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ sir. Post ಮಾಡಿ.
ಬರ್ತಿದೆಯಾ?
Yes sir, yes sir. ಸರಿ sir. Full screen ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ sir.
I see one of the participant is driving car, it seems.
ಡ್ರೈವಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಅದು ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಕಾರಲ್ಲಿ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್.
ಅದೇ ಮತ್ತೆ ಶೇರಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಲ
ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲೇನೋ ಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರು. ಡ್ರೈವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಸೋದು ಬೇಡ ಸರ್ ಇವಾಗ.
ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವ್ರು
ಇಲ್ಲ ತಲುಪ್ತಾರೆ ಬಿಡಿ, 2 ನಿಮಿಷ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ತಲುಪ್ತಾರೆ.
ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನು ಏನ ಕಾರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ನಾವು.
ಅಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದಾರೆ ಅವರು, ಏನೋ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದಾರೆ ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಮುನಿರಾಜ್ ಅವರೇ, ಡ್ರೈವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನೀವು ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ರೀಚ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡಿ ಬೇಗ. ಓಕೆ, ಡ್ರೈವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ಬೇಡ. ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ನಮ್ಗೆ. ರೀಚ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡಿ ಬೇಗ, ರೀಚ್ ಆಗಿ ಬೇಗ. ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಬಿಡಿ ಇವಾಗ. ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಸರ್, ನಾಟ್ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ಸ್, ಹಂಗಾಗಿ ಇವ್ರು ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಹೋಗಿ ಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿ.
ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನು ನಾವು ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡಿಯಪ್ಪ ಮುನಿರಾಜ್ ಅವರೇ, ಬೇಡ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್. ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಆಡಿಯೋ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್.
ರೀಚ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡಿ ಸರ್.
ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್, ಬಟ್ ಲಾಗಿನ್ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಆಗ್ಬೋದಿತ್ತು ಅವ್ರ ಪಾಪ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಕಾಣ್ತಿದೆ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನು?
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್, ಎಸ್ ಸರ್, ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಸರ್. PPT ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಫುಲ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು.
ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತೀನಿ.
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
ಏನ್ ಓದ್ತೀರಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇಲೆ?
ಇಂಟೆಲಿಜೆಂಟ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟಿಂಗ್, ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಡಿಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್.
Current
paradigm of science.
Paradigm of science. Okay, so good morning, all of you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. It's my immense pleasure to spend a couple of hours with you, roughly for the next 3 hours, talking about artificial intelligence in general, and specifically what is the current paradigm of science, and what were the earlier paradigm of science, and how were those, and where we are today as far as technology is concerned, why technology is so important in everybody's life today, how come it has become almost an indispensable component of our day-to-day life activity. So keeping in mind NEP requirement, because in NEP one of the skill-oriented 2-credit program or a 2-credit course is supposed to be on artificial intelligence. So I think it's a common paper across all branches of education, including all branches of engineering education. So nowadays, it has almost become, we reached a state where, we say that if somebody is educated, if somebody is considered to be educated, if somebody is considered to be illiterate, then it is not based on the degree that he has obtained. Probably today we say that he is educated if he has some knowledge on how to use the technology, especially mobile cell phones, and how to use the smart cell phone to see that he becomes more effective and also more efficient in carrying out the job, so that he becomes more productive all in all. So probably by the end of my lecture, some of you may end up, interacting with me with a couple of interesting questions like, sir, don't you think that, if you go for deploying, automated systems for most of the applications in our day-to-day life activity, it will take away the labors, it take away some jobs of lowest possible level. Probably you will also notice that, while myself is talking, this computing technology, which is considered to be a smart technology today, is not to replace anybody. It's not to replace anybody. However, to make everybody effective in their job, to make everybody efficient in their job, and to make everybody more productive than earlier in their respective job. I mean, it's not a complementary tool. We don't think of replacing a teacher. Nobody can replace a teacher. However, we can make a teacher much more effective if you go with ICT-based tools, if you make use of robotics to demonstrate, So if we make use of camera-based, system to demonstrate something for the students, probably that becomes more practical, more attractive, so that learner will have some excitation. And similarly, if you think of providing an intelligent system to a doctor, like an orthopedician, instead of he looks at X-ray and then take up a decision. If he has got some supplementary tool, let me underline the term called supplementary. I mean, our interest is not to give a complementary tool which replaces a human being, but our interest is to give a supplementary tool which helps an individual to pick up things early, to pick up things quickly, right? So, I mean, a doctor becomes more effective. So instead of remembering his old experience for the last 20 years and recollecting what prescription he has given for the similar diseases today being noticed, if he has got a gallery of such pictures, gallery of that experience, gallery of that, clinical prescriptions, probably interacting with the computer, because computer can remember things for a longer time. And like a human being, the computers have got some strength, some abilities which, when compared to human being, have got a strong abilities. If that could be exploited, probably I become more productive and I become more effective. Towards that, there is a community of people. There is a group of scientists who are called computer cognition people, who have been targeting towards development of such intelligent systems, right? Mimicking a human being, not replacing a human being, simulating, mimicking a human being. So working like a personal secretary, but not a personal secretary. So assisting a personal secretary, right? So that's what we are talking about. That comes into picture under the umbrella of artificial intelligence, because we all possess natural intelligence. A just born kid starts picking up natural intelligence. It makes observations, it uses 5 sensors, it uses ears to listen, it uses eyes to see, it watches and understands. It understands first the face of the mother, and then it understands the face of the father. Then the kid will pick up some properties of the face of the father and face of the mother, and some properties which make these two faces different, right? These two faces different. And then faces of grandfather, grandmother, and brother, sisters, elderly people, right? And so on. It goes on picking up things through vision, and then automatically it builds up a library of knowledge. That library of knowledge that kid builds up while observing the situations, either through vision or through ear, right, or through skin. We have 5 sensor organs, so using one or the other 5 sensor organs, the kid is in a position, our kid builds up library of knowledge every day, day by day. And by the use of that library of knowledge, the kid becomes so capable of recognizing people, right? Recognizing an event, recognizing something, working for itself, and so on and so forth, right? If that is possible in naturally, right, in a natural scenery, in a natural way, why can't the same thing be inculcated into existing computing technology? Can I think of giving such a similar knowledge of library to the computing technology, so that computer starts working for me as if he is my good friend, as if he is my personal secretary, as if he is my close associate, if not in all real, with maintaining certain degree of emotional attachment, at least can that help us in a professional way, right? So this is what the people have thought of and work for the last roughly about 40 to 50 years, and today the things are made realized, and under the umbrella called artificial intelligence. And the education policy committee has understood the importance of that artificial intelligence today, and they wanted that course to be studied by every graduate, sooner or the other, in one or the other semester. Every graduate has to have some knowledge of artificial intelligence. I'm happy that already my good friend Dr. Aradhya Manjunath stressed upon machine learning, what machine learns, how does it learn, is a part of artificial intelligence. I mean, artificial intelligence is a big umbrella, whereas machine learning is a part of it, is one of the branches of AI, right? Artificial intelligence. So I'm happy, and you may find some overlapping between my content and Dr. Aradhya's content. I don't know. You may find some kind of overlapping between the talks or the slides content which both of us have presented today. In spite of it, I would request you to bear with that, and understand that I'm forcing or enforcing you on reinforcement of learning. Probably Aradhya must have also spoken about reinforcement of learning. Right? Learning is important. You being a teacher, I'm sure that you will second me that, you know, after 1 hour of lecture, you have a habit of giving a couple of assignments to the students. Why are you giving assignments to the students? Because you would insist the student to learn in your lecture, and you expect the student to relearn the same topic at home. You know? That's the reason behind giving the assignments to the students. Look, I mean, our interest is not to concentrate fully on only learning, but equal preference is given to, or equal importance is given to what is called relearning. I would rather say that relearning is of more or great importance than learning, and learning is is of no use unless there is a relearning. Right? Is more important. Relearning, right? Cognition and recognition. Recognition is possible if cognition is pakka. So this cognition process, can it be automated? I want camera setup. I want in a police, you know, traffic signals. I am not happy with the current, you know, countdown system, because even if there is no vehicle in any other, you know, streets, but I am blocked for about 180 seconds because green signals are given for other directions, but not for me. I got to unnecessarily wait for 180 seconds in spite of there is no other vehicle trying to passing through the junction. But on the other hand, had there been a policeman, perhaps he makes use of a natural intelligence, and because of he understand that, you know, there is no other vehicle, there is no other person, you know, people who want to cross the junction, and he is the only person who is driving his car. Let me permit this car to pass through the junction without even putting me to wait for another 3 minutes, right? Because he possesses natural and he understands the scenery. Whereas the existing counting down system do not understand the scenery. They just simply end up counting the number of seconds, you know, and as and when they count to be 0, then that respective direction gets opened, green signal will be given, only those people can pass through. If there is nobody from the direction, still the signal is in green and nobody is crossing the junction is so empty, but others are waiting. Look at the pittiness, you know. Can we think of deploying a camera? Can we think of, you know, deploying a system with a camera setup as if there is a policeman watching? You know, a policeman sees through his vision, sees through his eyes. If that eyes could be mimicked with the support of a camera, and see that camera would continuously sense the you know, the scenery and understand that what are the vehicles and how many vehicles are trying to move across the junction from which direction, right? Is it only one vehicle trying to pass through and no other direction I've got a vehicle? Then why can't we suddenly reset the counter to 0? It is counting 150, 149, 150, 148, etc. Instead of going in a sequential order 1 by 1, then to 0, why can't the system suddenly reset to 0 so that the person can pass through the junction? This is what we are looking at now. I mean, we have got some already a machine supported or, you know, equipment supported system being followed up, but they are not that effective. They are not that intelligent. They are blindly designed. Instead of them, can we think of replacing such existing machinery supported system by an intelligent computing system, right? So then probably I become more effective. I can see that reality is taking place. I mean, I want something which suits the reality. I don't want something to replace in what somehow, but I want to replace it something, you know, which really suit the reality. What is happening in case if there is a policeman, similar things should happen there, in spite of there is no policeman, but a support of a computing system. And such a computing system is what is called intelligent computing system, right? I'm talking that intelligent computing system is because of science, and it is a replication, or it is a simulation, or it is what is called canvassing the truth hidden in the nature. The science, that's what I call it as a paradigm of science. This paradigm of science, perhaps I call it as a current paradigm. Then you may have a question that what are the others? How was the science earlier and so on? I just recollect the history. Though I am not a man from the history discipline, but I recollect the history which we have studied in our school education, and based on that history, I try to build up where are we as far as technology is concerned, roughly for the next about 150 minutes. So before I just get you what is called intelligent computing, what is called artificial intelligence and machine learning, let me just show you the following. So as I said, I am from computer science department, etc., and so on. So this is the slide which presents you about city called Mysore. So some of you are already from Mysore city, and some of you must not have visited Mysore city. So because the people who are attending this lecture from Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, outside Karnataka, must not have an opportunity to visit Mysore city, but I am presenting them what is Mysore city, right? Don't assume that I am from a tourism department, but I'm very much from computer science department. But you will understand why I am presenting about Mysore city, what is the reason behind it, what is the importance of it, in another couple of minutes. Look at, if I talk about my Mysore city, I would say that it is a city of palaces. We have many palaces across, almost in all regions of Mysore city. We have at least one palace, including Manasa Gangotri campus, where our university is being run. We have a palace called Jayalakshmi Palace. So it is a city of gardens. It has got some good avenues and many temples in and around Mysore. And all in all, it is a historical place. And most of the Indians would love to visit. Why Indians? No, even outside Indians would love to visit Mysore. And most of the people after retirement want to get settled down happily. It is a a kind of a place where all retail people would love to come and stay here for a longer time, right? Okay, so it retains still a charm of the old world with its many institutions that propagate Carnatic classical music and dance. We have a fine arts college, a specialized a college for fine arts, in Mysore city, and it is called generally a beautiful and cultured daughter city of Mother India. If India is considered to be the mother, then Mysore is considered to be one of the daughters of that Mother India, but a beautiful and a cultured. So probably you know that the Mysore was identified to be the first cleanest city in India, right? So the top cleanest city in India, when some awards were given way back about 4 years back, right? So this is all about Mysore. Instead of telling you in paragraphs, or instead of displaying the text in front of you and also to present with the audio, if I can show you the pictures, look at here now. Probably this becomes more appealing for you now. Probably looking at this palace, the beautiful palatial building, probably you will understand that how beautiful the Mysore Palace is. So whatever I say here, it is a city of palaces and we have beautiful palaces. Instead of that, if I can present you a picture, the picture speaks thousands much better than any text data, right? Look at this picture. Our vision is so, instead of ears, the visions are more effective, what I understood, So instead of listening, if you can see it, probably that's more appealing, more appealing. That's what is called the importance of vision applications in computing technology. That's what is the importance of images in computing technology. Instead of just capturing and loading the data by keying in the data, if you can also attach a camera to a computing system and capture a media called image media and store it as a reference, probably the system become more effective. That is the importance of images and image processing, image handling, and so on and so forth. So look at, we have Seven Philomena Church, we have several temples in and around Mysore, known for their constructions, known for their beautification, and so on. So Mahishashura in between. This is one of the popular temples in Mysore is called Chamundeshwari Temple, right? And we have Brindavan Garden. Hope all of you, some of you must have visited and all of you must have heard of it. And we have a musical foundation. The musical fountain is the one which was initially thought of first in Asia, right? But today, in almost even in a small garden in your street, probably have such a a fountain. But this was the first fountain, right? The people thought of in Mysore, and national park like Bandipur, Nagaravale nearby. So we can enjoy weekend in Mysore. If we are in Mysore, it's not that we enjoy just because Mysore is a hill station. Mysore has only parks. Mysore has only gardens. Mysore has only palaces. No, it has everything. Whatever you really want to enjoy, and that Mysore has everything, right? We have falls, many falls surrounding Mysore, and we have international zoo called Mysore Zoo, and we have bird sanctuary in nearby Mysore called Srirangapattanam. And more so ever, this is my campus, Manasa Gangotri campus. campus. So University of Mysore has a beautiful campus, very greenery campus, So they look at the building, the crocodile, the head office of our university, and library building of our university on the right side, and in between, what you have a picture of Jayalakshmi Vilas, a palace, a palace. We live like kings and queens in the palace, kings and queens in the Manasa Gangotri campus, right? That's it. I mean, why I'm presenting you? While listening to me, perhaps if you had not visited Mysore, if you had not seen the Mysore, by this time I'm sure that for the last roughly about 15 minutes, you must have learned something about Mysore. You must have predicted something about Mysore. You must have calculated something about Mysore. You must have figured out how is supposed to be the Mysore. You must have established all in your brain how is supposed to be the Mysore city. Please understand. I mean, you're not simply a word of me presenting. You also have looked at my slides while presenting. Not only that, you looked at and heard of me, but you also were thinking in parallel. There were some operations going on in the brain, I'm sure that you would accept me that, there were some operations going through, some operations being computed, some operations being calculated, some operations being executed, some operations being functioned in the brain of you people. And that's what I call it as computation. That's what I call it as computing, So it could be a calculation, it could be evaluation. What do you do after examination is over? You take all the scripts of students, you take the student scripts and then go for evaluating the answer script. What do you mean by evaluating the answer script? Looking at the quantity and also the quality of answers, you just try to evaluate the answer script to a specific score. You try to associate that answers with a specific score, 80 out of 100, 73 out of 100. That is what is called evaluation. That evaluation is what is called computation. You ended up computing a score called 80 and through the process of evaluation. So evaluation makes a computation, and a computation involves evaluation. Computation involves calculation. Computation involves working out, enumerating, figuring out, or establishing, obtaining. I mean, sometimes it's not that, what you want is really visible, but indirectly available. Most of the times, we become so good in reasoning out the things. If X, Y, Z are given, I compute some things, A, which is not explicitly given, right? So by the end of a semester, you would declare that one of the students to be a very smart guy, but he doesn't bear any label, on his chest saying that I'm a smart student, right? But after teaching couple of students, 50 students or 100 students a semester, you would end up declaring that one of them is supposed to be a very alert student, very smart student, not even looking at the answer script, the way in which you answer, that doesn't alone count for its smartness, but somehow you are managing to declare that one of the student is a very smart and intelligent fellow. How do you declare? Unknowingly, you do some calculations, you do some evaluation, you do some workout, you do something. That is what I call it as a computing, right? But we are all naturally intelligent. We are so capable. We do things in parallel. We enjoy computing because every day, starting from our day number 1 of our life, we used to it. We calculate, we obtain, we infer, right? What all I say, all words, though are interchangeably used, though are synonyms, but they are entirely different. But club all of them together into a single integrated, assimilated word, and that word is what is called computing. Hope you all have understood what is really the meaning of computing. But we are naturally computing them. But the moment I want my computer to simulate myself, my computer to mimic myself, I show my computers the pictures of Mysore city. Picture of my palace, picture of my campus, picture of garden in Mysore city, picture of Brindavan, picture of Mysore, many temples, national park. All these pictures are given one by one and telling that these are the pictures captured of from Mysore city. And then I capture similar some n number of pictures of another city. I give those pictures as input to the computer, telling that these are the pictures belong to city 1 and these are the pictures belong to Mysore city. Then I want computer to say that Mysore city looks to be more beautiful than the city 1, right? if I collect the pictures of Mysore city, and if I collect the pictures of another city, and she give those collections, both of them, to my daughter, very small kid, my daughter studying in school, or my some good friend of mine, if I present both the pictures to him, he would say that, oh, this city appears to be more beautiful. Or you must have come across with the following situation that you must have visited Delhi and you captured some pictures of you people being in Delhi, and then when you come back home, you must have shown to your good friend. Oh, good friends must have told you that, oh, look, the Red Fort looks very beautiful. Red Fort looks beautiful. All in all, visiting Delhi city is really worth visiting. On what basis do they say? If they can do that, why not my computer is a question today. I mean, computer has a camera. I take pictures of a city and another city, and based on the pictures of cities of India, like major cities of India, Chennai, Delhi, Visakhapatnam, Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, Hyderabad. Let you take about 20 cities and collect all the different pictures available of about each city and give them. And I want computer to rank. I want computer to automatically rank which city appears to be more beautiful and why. If that could be done automatically, then I say that it is not because of natural intelligence, it is because of artificial intelligence, right? Then what is an intelligent? Intelligence is nothing but an ability to solve a problem. How well I solve a problem is a question, Intelligence is an ability to solve a problem, and capacity to learn and acquire knowledge. Intelligence is an ability, number one, to solve a problem. Number two, it is a capacity to learn and acquire a knowledge. And it is a competency in using the acquired knowledge and ability to interact with others. Look at, we are good in this, but we want today the computing technology, computing system to be equally good for establishing its connectivity with other computers. So if two professors can talk each other, why not the respect to laptops of those two professors? I have a laptop. I work on machine learning. Dr. Manjunath is also working on machine learning. He also has got a laptop. I program my laptop. Let him program his laptop. So when we stop talking because of some reasons we are occupied, we want our laptop to communicate each other automatically. I want my laptop to understand my requirement. I expect his laptop to understand his requirement, and laptops should speak each other mutually, representing ours. Representing myself, representing Dr. Aradhya, our laptops are the representatives, like our personal secretaries. Can we think of such a system which is intelligent system? If that is possible, then I say the system has some intelligence, and that intelligence is natural, not natural. It is an artificial intelligence. So if these abilities are given to the computing technology, then I say it is intelligent computing. Computers exhibiting these abilities, computers exhibiting ability to solve a problem, and capacity to establish communication, and capacity to learn and relearn. Look at, dear friends, generally in personality development, or building up great persons, we are talking on majorly three things. One is learning. Learn. That's very important. Relearn is another thing. So what you learn, practice it again and again. And sometimes we also recommend for unlearning. Whatever we learn, we are going to unlearn. Unlearn means we are going to forget and pick up the new alternatives. Probably let's assume that I consider myself to be very good in driving my car in Mysore city. Very good. I'm good at driving in Mysore city, for example. I understand that I can drive my car anywhere in India. I'm very smart in driving car, irrespective of the nature of road, nature of scene, nothing. But I am very good in driving, for example. Then the moment I go to United States of America, I cannot use the same style of driving which I have practiced in India, because altogether rules and regulations are different, the modalities are different, strategies are different in the United States of America. Then what I got to do? I got to unlearn my driving style of India and pick up a new style of driving in United States of America. It's not to learn driving style of America. It's also equally important to forget the driving style of India. And once I come back from America, again I got to forget whatever I learned in America, the driving style. I have got to relearn this driving style of India. If I remember that also while driving here, probably I met with an accident. Look, what is equally important? Unlearning. But in computing technology especially, unlearning is very simple for us. Making computers learn and relearn is really tough. But on the other hand, making computer unlearn is very easy for us, because erasing the memory helps in unlearning, right? So hence, in computing technology, especially in intelligent computing, we don't talk about unlearning, but we talk about only learning and relearning. But for a human being, three things are important: learning, relearning, and unlearning. All in all, I want computer to discover knowledge. There is something which is not available directly, but indirectly available. Computer has to discover it. If computer can do it automatically, then I say it is a smart computing technology, right? Look here, this is a very important slide. I believe that, which would trigger us to recollect our theory of Darwin's. Theory of Darwin's would say that we are all evolved from a monk, right? Monkeys have become human being today. That's what we gently say, that theory of Darwin's, right? Theory of evolution. This evolution has not happened in a single day. It is evolution, not revolution. We don't call it as a revolution, because this process of transforming a monk to a human being, right? There are basically two components with which this transformation has happened. Number one, the physical appearance. The animal which used to balance its body with the support of 4 legs has become an animal to balance its body with the support of 2 legs. That is a big change. Physical appearance, physical structure has become a very considerable, big change. In addition to that, intellectual ability, right? Earlier monks were not so intelligent, but human being has grown up to that level of declaring himself today that I am the most intelligent animal on the earth. Look at the funny thing here. We are declaring that we are the most intellectual animals on the earth without taking certificate from, or without taking any acceptance from other animals on the earth, right? That's the beauty of intelligence of a human being, no? Without even asking any other animal, without taking any justification, without taking any certificate, without taking any approval or agreement from other animals, we end up declaring that human being is the most intelligent animal on the earth, right? We have grown up to that level as far as our intellectual ability is considered. Look at, there are basically 2 components with which this evolution had happened. One is physical structure, appearance wise. Another one is intellectual energy. Look at, these are the 2 very important energy for any human being to be successful. For any human being to be, to become excellent in this area of it, there are 4 energies which we talk about. One is a physical energy, another one is a intellectual energy. Out of 4, these 2 are the fundamental energy, a basic energy for a human being to possess. One is a physical energy, another one is intellectual energy. Look, this physical energy and intellectual energy has become so great during this process of evolution. But this process of evolution was there for about millions of years, not for only 1 year, not even for 10 years, but for millions of years. Look at the change was considerable, very, very considerable, but the change did not happen suddenly. The change took a long period of time. That's why it is called what is called evolution. Change is noticed, very noticeable change, but for a long time. I mean, the rate at which change happened, I mean, the rate at which change happened means, what is the change in a day? What is the change in a day? What is the change in every hour? That is considerably less during the process of evolution, right? That is very considerably less. Rate at which change happened was less, but still, after a long time, the change became noticeable. That is what is called evolution. If the rate at which change happening is very high, I mean, sudden change, I see a big change within 1 minute, I see a big change within 2 minutes, within a year, within 1 year, right? Then I say it is revolution. Look, dear friends, today you see a big change every day. Whatever you see today in the morning will disappear next day in the morning. Something, different structures would exist. Right? Whatever you had seen in the nature of a boy today, altogether as a big change tomorrow in the morning. The rate at which change is happening today in the reality in an environment is considerably high. I mean, today there is something which is responsible not for the evolution but for the revolution. What is that? I'll come to that question little later. But with respect to this, slide, I just wanted to say that we're all from monks, and that because of two changes, one is a physical, another one intellectual ability, which had given us two basic energies, physical energy and intellectual energy. Once the man has picked up these two energies, then he wanted to perform better in his life. When he wanted to perform better in his life, then he has understood the emotional importance of emotional energy. Oh, it's not that I have to work alone. If I work in a team, probably I can pick up better, I become more effective. If I can take up the support of my neighbor, support of my own people, oh, then he thought of my own people, the people who are in support of me, my own people. Then he has understood the importance of family structure. This is what we learn in civilization, in civilization. So he has understood the importance of family structure. Then instead of living for himself, he wanted to live for others. He has understood the joyness in living for others. It's not that one has to live for himself, then realize that the one who will live forever in spite of his physical death, one can continue living like Mahatma Gandhi. He continues living because he lived for others, not for himself. If whoever lives for others, then he has picked up what is called a very important energy called fourth energy, a spiritual energy. Look, emotional energy, I got to work with others, I got to get attached with others, right? And then while doing so, I got to live for others. That's what is called spiritual energy. These are the four fundamental energies which are in support for any individual to excel in his life. Look at then, civilization came into picture. The man has understood the importance of cultivation, has started building up house and got settled down in the form of villages, in the form of towns, and then later in the form of cities. And more so ever, he has understood the importance of animals also. This is very important for me to talk about artificial intelligence later. What is that? So the man has understood the importance of, look at here, the cow, if not a cow, ox. He got those animals specially trained. He could catch hold of oxes and could give them a specialized training for the purpose of cultivation, for the purpose of farming, for the purpose of agriculture. He never had given the training for oxes for riding, right? He never had given the training for oxes to carry the goods like donkeys, but he got them trained. I mean, we should appreciate the intelligence ability or intellectual ability of our poor, our ancestors who have not attended any school formally. There were nothing like a formal education. There were nothing like schools earlier, but they realized the importance of animals. Instead of taking support from only human beings, why can't we think of support, taking up support from animals also, so that I become more effective, right? More effective. So earlier to this, cultivation used to happen, but in place of oxes, there used to be two human beings who were expected to, pull away that, what is called, that we call it as that instrument, nail. So there were used to be two people, right? And the people used to carry the luggage. Look at here, look at the donkeys. The donkeys were given specialized training for carrying the goods. But earlier to this, earlier of finding out the importance of donkeys, in carrying the goods, the people used to serve as laborers. Does it mean that this identifying the importance of donkeys for supporting us in carrying goods has taken away the jobs of people? No, definitely not. Look at, but ancestors have understood that, oh, donkeys can be used not for cultivation, not for farming, but for carrying goods. And look at here, dogs can be used for identifying crimes. I mean, the human being, our ancestors have understood, have studied every animal their nature, their abilities, having understood that the dogs have got greater ability when compared to oxes and donkeys, especially for identifying crimes, then dogs were given specialized training. And even today, our police department makes use of the support of dogs in identifying. They cannot think of identifying without the support of dogs today, right? Dogs are well trained, specialized training. Horses are given specialized training for riding purpose. We ride horses, not the donkeys. We don't ride on cows. We don't ride buffaloes. We don't ride on dogs, but we ride on horses. I mean, look at every animal was identified for its ability. Every animals were recognized for their abilities, and based on the strength and weaknesses, our ancestors have classified the animals for the different purposes, and they were given specialized training. There is nothing like an animal which is for a general purpose. We don't have any animal for which suits general purpose, but we can make use of animal for a specific purpose. But human being is the only one who suits general purpose. Unfortunate, but still unbelievable. We should not say that I suit everywhere. I, being a computer science professor, I cannot say that, I teach every branch of computer science. Then I appear to be a foolish professor of computer science. I should say that I am specialized in image processing. I am specialized in computer networking. Even today, I don't offer any course on computer networking. Though I have studied computer networking, though I am using computer networking, but if somebody comes and asks me, interact with me about computer networking, then I say that I'm not an expert of it. I'm not for it. I'm not specialized in it, right? Look at, we should not work for general. We should have some specialization. I mean, dear friends, what is really important now to understand with this slide is that the ancestors have identified each animal for a specific purpose, and he could control only few of the animals, but not all animals. Like tigers, lions were not under control, so he has just left them away and catch hold of only those which he could control, and these were called domestic animals. And animals were given training. Animals were given human being has conducted a lectures, series of lectures to train them. Similarly, today in the current paradigm, what we are trying to do is, we, in addition to taking up support from animals, why can't I take up support from my cell phone? Why can't I take up a support of my laptop? I want to make use of this even non-living entity for my benefits, for my effectiveness, right? Then can we think of giving specialized training for this laptop, specialized training for this cell phone, specialized training for this mobile application? This is what today current. This is what is happening today. We want to give a specialized training for a different computers of different architecture. There is one computer which is called biometric computer. There is one computer called surveillance computer. There is one computer dedicated for attendance taking of students. There is another computer dedicated for attendance taking of employees. There is one computer dedicated for a doctor, especially for pediatric. There is another computer completely dedicated for orthopedician. But the computer dedicated for this doctor cannot be used by a structural engineer. A computer dedicated for structural engineer cannot be used for person who conducts classes for student, and so on. Now we are thinking of identifying computers as personalized computers. Earlier, computers were defined to be general purpose. But today, gone are the days, dear friends, computers are becoming more personalized, more specialized computing entity. And such a personalized, specialized computing entity is what is called intelligent computing system, right? That is because of not natural intelligence. It is because of, not natural intelligence, but because of artificial intelligence. This is called natural intelligence and animals learning. It is called animals learning. Instead of animals, I want to poke in artificial intelligence into computing system. So I call them as machine learning. That is the difference. Earlier, our ancestors good at giving trainings to the living beings. Now we are good at giving trainings to even non-living entity. That's the greatness of today's technology. Look at here. If I recollect the civilization period, probably if I remember, though I'm not a historian, I say that this era of civilization was there about 12,000 to 14,000 years. Era of civilization was there in terms of thousands of years. Look at evolution happened for a period of millions of years. Instead of millions of years, have come down to thousands of years. Soon after, the monkeys have become human being, and the smart human being, intellectual human being. Now civilization. During civilization, he started understanding the science. Look at Egyptian civilization contributed a lot for the pyramidical structures. During that time, there was nothing like civil engineering course. In spite of no engineering colleges, there was nothing like a formal education of civil engineering. The Egyptians have constructed such a wonderful, beautiful pyramidical structure. Even today, what really attracts any visitor of Egypt is a pyramidical structure, right? Today, we cannot expect our civil engineers who have been given great mathematics, who have been conducted, who have been given marathon lectures, and who have been educated because of 4 years of learning. We cannot expect them to construct such a beautiful pyramidical structure. Look at the edges of these pyramidical structures. So they are very sharp. Look at, they are very beautiful, So such pyramidical structures cannot be thought of by a current civil engineers in spite of their formal engineering education. I mean, what I am indirectly telling that I'm not degrading current, but I'm telling that I'm appreciating the intellectual ability of old people who are so good at practicing the science. Let me underline, practicing the science. Science was existing. Science is not something new which is existing today. Science was existing way back. Soon after evolution happened, man realized the importance of nature. He wanted to understand the truth hidden inside the nature, and that when he attempted to understand the truth hidden inside the nature, then he has understood indirectly the significance of science, but without explicitly mentioning that it is a science, but he went on practicing it. So science was there. Look at here in the last row of this images, you see Sindhu civilization. It is ours, Indian civilization, known for reservoir, known for pools, lakes, known for storage. So that's Sindhu civilization. Look at ancient Greece civilization is known for open air theater. Our Manasa Gangotri campus is an open air theater, but that's not the contribution of University of Mysore. Not even the contribution of Kannadigas or Mysoreans, but it is a contribution of our ancient Greece civilization. The concept, the notion of open air theater came into existence during the ancient Greece. So look at this clock. Look at this clock. The Babylonian civilization has brought up this. Sumerian civilization brought up this clock concept. This counts not like 10 which we do. For every 10 we do second 10, 20, 30, etc. And after 10 of 10s, 100 we say. Right? I mean, the cycle repeats for every 10. But here the cycle repeats for every 60. 60 seconds is 1 minute and 60 minutes is 1 hour, right? Look at this counts cyclically after every 60. This was the concept initiated and demonstrated during civilization period, right? Called Sumerian civilization or Babylonian civilization. I still remember that. So look at, I mean, science was existing during the civilization, and civilization was there for about 12,000 to 14,000 years. But during this 12,000, 14,000 years, there was a considerable change. Like, the evolution for millions of years, there was a considerable noticeable change. Even in civilization, there was a noticeable change, but that noticeable change had happened within the period of 14,000 years. I mean, the time has come down to thousands. Millions of years has come down to thousands of years, but both significant, noticeable change. Look at the rate which occurred during civilization was considerably high when compared to the rate at which change happened during the evolution of human being from monk. And such a period of what is called evolution of the science, practicing of science during civilization is what is called empirical. paradigm of science, empirical paradigm of science. The science was in practice. That's why we call it as empirical. The first paradigm of science was empirical. Later, I mean, during 17th century, 18th century, 19th century, there were about 300 to 400 years because of the sacrification of the people like Newton, people like Stephenson, people like Otto's, people like, Wright brothers, people like Edison. There were great scientists. I wish to call them, including C.V. Raman of India, for example. I wish to call them as visionaries, Darshanikaru. What do you mean by visionaries? Visionaries are the people who could visualize what can be created for the next generation, which is really missing today. If I can understand that, what is really existing and what is not is really existing, what is missing for us, can I think of creating for the next generation? If I can think so, then I say I am called a visionary, somebody who has a great vision for future. So these people, in my opinion, considered, I wish to consider them as visionaries. And because of the visions of these visionaries, the science came into picture. But science was there earlier to that, but in the form of practice. And these people, what they have contributed is they understood the theory behind the science. They understood the mathematics of science, and they canvassed that mathematics is the best language to describe the science. I mean, mathematics was considered to be a language of science. If you really want to communicate something exactly, X as X, right, without any approximation, then go with mathematical way of expressing it and use mathematics as one of the natural languages. Like I use English to communicate with you people. Somebody uses Hindi to communicate with you people. Somebody uses Kannada to communicate with you people, right? Use some language for the purpose of communication. If two scientists wants to communicate their thoughts, it's good to communicate with the support of mathematics. So mathematics was identified to be the language of science, right? Language of science literature. That is the beauty of contribution of these great visionaries. And look at George Stephenson invented, locomotives and steam engines, whereas Nicholas August Otto, proposed a combustion engine, and whereas diesel, Rodolph Region diesel engine, and Charles Goodyear, so that's rubber. What is called Wright brothers have invented first aeroplane. Lumini brothers are responsible for today's cell phone cameras. So they invented moving cameras, right? Moving pictures, how to capture objects in motion. They invented Lumino brothers. We should thank them a lot, because every smart cell phone has a camera today. It is their contributions fundamentally, right? Alexander invented telephone, right? Thomas Edison has invented bulb to give, take away the darkness of a human being. Even without having sunlight, we can still have lights. That's what is called the contribution of Thomas Edison. Look at, science came into picture physically, came into picture theoretically. So science was existing during civilization, science was practiced, and that was called empirical. And now, during this science period, we call it as theoretical. The empirical paradigm of science has become theoretical paradigm of science. Look at here, but the science period was there for about 300 years, maximum for about 400 years. But big change happened, very, very big change, sudden change. I would say that when compared to that evolution, millions of years, I would rather say that this evolution of science is basically a revolution. I can say that, because it is only in terms of hundreds. Millions of millions has come down to thousands of thousands, has further come down to hundreds of hundreds, right? Only hundreds of years. But observations are the following. Look at what man achieved during thousands of years was relatively little. A great change started to appear during the late 19th century. Recently, amazingly, the changes during the past 50 years. I'm sure that most of you, all the participants must have crossed 50 years of age. If not, you cannot imagine 50 years of duration. If you are only 30 years of age, then you just recollect last 10 years, 1 decade. Only 1 decade. Imagine your school days, imagine your college days, and compare against current days. I'm sure that you will see a big change. I mean, you see in all aspects of your life a great change, and change continue happening. I mean, changes during the past 10 years in all aspects of life are great and happened very fast. Happened very fast. So what was existing during my school days, what was really, I worried a lot during my masters, today I see a big change. Why masters? Even if I recollect my PhD period, to be frank and directly speaking with you people, believe me that I am graduated with a doctorate degree from the University of Mysore in the discipline of computer science. I did my PhD in computer science in 2000. 99 I submitted, awarded in January of 2000. But I got my email ID created after my PhD. Look at, I was a computer science assistant professor. I was carrying out PhD in computer science, but my email ID got created after my PhD. Look at, I mean, the notion of internet technology started appearing after my PhD. C language you're using, C language was not part of our curriculum. You are calling C++ today. You must have heard of Python. Even last 5 years batch, did not have Python course. I did not have C language. It was coming up during that time. I worked on Pascal language, but Pascal language is completely has disappeared today. That is what this big change I see every day. Whatever which is existing today morning will disappear suddenly by tomorrow morning. Why? What is the reason? What is the reason? Is it the science? No. Is it the engineering? No. What is that? It is a technology. He's also one of the visionaries, right? Charles Babbage invented a mechanical computing system, father of computers. You could imagine that one day there will be a system working for us, for counting, for doing mathematics and so on. More than this, if any one of you happen to be a person with a background of mathematics, you must proud of yourself, because whatever I see today, whatever I am working with the computing called digital computers today, they are the engineered product. They are the realized product by engineers. Of what? Of an abstract mathematical model given by a great Russian mathematician called Turing. Alan Turing was a great Russian mathematician in 1940 plus, in the early 1940, he could come out with the abstract theory of mathematics, highlighting that down the line, after few years, there will be a computing technology, there will be a computing system which helps in comparing, counting, calculating, recognizing. He mentioned everything. He has given an abstract model called Turing model, that we call it as a Turing machine. For your information, look, dear friends, in computer science, we don't have a Nobel Prize, but we have a prize equivalent to Nobel Prize for computers and information technology scientists called Turing Award. Turing was the mathematician who really thought of an working model, but everything was abstract, conceptualized. But that conceptualized model has been realized, has been concretized by engineers, and that realized concretized in products are the computing system which you physically see everywhere, right? Look at, so the technology matters. Which technology? Not any technology. Of course, gone are the days we are talking about electronics. No, now everything is in the form of computation. Combines electronics with electrics, right? And computation. Now everything is in the form of computation. That is what is called computational science. It is the next paradigm of science. Computation science is the paradigm of science. Current paradigm of science is not even computation science. It is the data science. We moved up to a fourth paradigm of science. Computational paradigm of science is the third paradigm of science, whereas the fourth paradigm of science is the data science. Data matters a lot. But probably during your school education, during your master's education, and myself, during my master's, I used to find it very difficult to get the data. But today, I get the data from multi-sensors, for multiple sensors, right? Whether I want the data or not, but I get the data. So today, what do I do with the data? If I happen to be a member of multiple WhatsApp group today, then by end of a day, I end up collecting many audios, many videos, many images, many text messages. Look at the multimedia data. Basically, 4 types of data: text data, video data, image data, and audio data. What do I do with this data? By the end of a day, I end up collecting thousands of videos, but not all of them are of my importance. So then, before I go to bed, I had to spend about 30 minutes, unfortunately, wasting my time to delete those images, to delete those videos of unwanted, right? Can I think of making my computer or my cell phone very smart because it observes me? Like, for example, me, let's assume that my daughter sits with me while myself deleting unwanted videos and unwanted images and keeping certain images and videos of my importance. Out of thousands, I keep only 10 and remaining 900 plus will be deleted. And my daughter watches every day. She sits with me every day and she observes. After 1 month, probably she would say that, Papa, I do it. You need not do it. I have understood what is your importance and what is not your importance, right? If she can do it, why not this itself? I want this smartphone to observe automatically, and what are the videos content, which are the videos deleted, which are the video retained by Guru, and probably while getting those videos through WhatsApp, the system is expected to automatically decide which videos are of importance, which videos are not of importance, and completely delete them, right? So this is what is called a data science. So this is what is called artificial intelligence based machine learning, right? Look at why are the technology required? Because it increases, right? What? We are with lack of manual labors, very tough to get labors today. Suppose if somebody has got about 1 acres of land and for the purpose of agriculture, he cannot maintain that 1 acres of land. I am facing the difficulty. So manual labors is really tough to get and increase in population. So I want accomplishing quickly. So need for optimal outcome. I want the outcome to be more optimal, more productive, more commercial, and highly productive. So need for fast and accurate measurement. That's more important, right? Doctors now use technology for accurate cutting of the skin, while operating a patient, especially cancerous. The spread cannot be easily understood. If you use the technology today, the image processing technology has come to that level where we can have 100% faith on it so that the segmentation marking can be made more accurately without any error so that doctor can easily scissor it out. So that is the benefit of the technology. So availability of high computational power. Earlier the system used to be very costly, but today you get it at a cheaper rate, and low cost sensors and increased attention by research community. There are many people who have been working on this technology development, proposing, effective solutions, AI-based solutions for real-time problems. So these are some, reasons for the technology to take forward. So what I indirectly communicated is computers should learn to acquire knowledge and skill, and that's what probably Dr. Aradhya Manjunath must have given you the more formal technical way of defining machine learning. I'm just philosophically presenting you what is called machine learning. Machine learning is not that human being is learning, it is that computers have to learn. The process of making computers learning is what is called machine learning, right? Okay, then it is what is called artificial intelligence. It is intelligence but not natural. That is what is called artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is to make computers exhibiting intelligence. So programming a computer is an inculcation of artificial intelligence into a computer. Suppose you go to a computer and type in your date of birth. If computer replies back, this is your current age. So it has some intelligence. It has some way of computing, but explicitly programmed. Right? Explicitly programmed. Suppose I have a data like 12, I have a data like 20, I have a data like 100. All of them are even number, right? I have another set of integers called odd integers. So look at, I write a program. I sit and write a program using some programming language so that computer can say that whether given number 10 is an even number or an odd number. The task is so simple, you know. How do you say a number is even? You need not be familiar with computer science. It's a very simple primary school concept, you know. When do you say a number is even? If number is divisible by 2, then what is your attempt? You attempt dividing the given number by the number 2. If that number 2 divides the given number successfully, I mean with 0 being the remainder, then you say the number is an even number. Otherwise, number is not a even, it is an odd number, right? If that could be worked out in the form of algorithms, which could be transformed into a program, then computer becomes capable of classifying a given number into even number or into odd number. Then I say computer has some intelligence on classification problem of classifying a number into even or odd. And that is what is called artificial intelligence. That is what is called artificial intelligence. It is explicitly programmed. I have 10 numbers randomly placed. I have got to place them in an order, in increasing order. That's what is called sorting of numbers. If I write explicit program to sort numbers, then I say it is artificial intelligence. Then what is a machine learning? The difference is the following. Instead of explicitly writing the program, I just give the examples. Look, 10, 12, 14, 100, 1000, 2000. These are all one class of numbers. Then I say 17, 47, 97, 170, 207, right? 1441. I say these are all one set of numbers. Look, I call these as odd numbers. I call these as even number. I mean, I just give the examples without explicitly telling you that these are all successfully divisible by 2 and these are not successfully divisible by 2. But I want computer to understand, oh, this is the nature of these numbers and this is the nature of these numbers, and automatically it has to build up a library of knowledge. A program has got to be generated. Computer has to learn, not by programming. Computer has to learn a programming on itself. I mean, programming a computer for programming purpose is what is called machine learning. So machine learning makes computers more specialized. More specialized. I take a very simple example. You need not think in a very deeper way. I have a cell phone here. It has a camera. So I just keep this camera. I went inside a garden. Imagine a garden of flowers. There are varieties of species of flowers. I just go with this camera. Myself, while watching, I'll keep the camera on. I just go on capturing the video of all the flowers. By the time I complete my walk through a garden, this computing system should say that, Dr. Guru, this garden has so many different species of flowers. Getting me or not? See, don't you think that the moment I walk inside the garden, I will come to know that probably some prediction, oh, this garden may have 20 different species of flowers, different types I'm talking about, There are about 20 different types of flowers in this garden. If I can do so, why not my computer? I just keep the cameras on and I just walk through the garden. By the time I come out of the garden, it should display or it should speak out that, Guru, it seems that this garden, some estimation, not necessarily exact number, some estimation. Oh, If it is exactly 20, I don't mind if the system says that it is 19 or 21, right? But it should not say 900. Some approximation can be predicted. Then I expect the system say that, oh, this garden probably has about 20 different species. That is what is called specialized computing. Then I say this smartphone is specially designed and specially programmed, specially trained for the purpose of identifying different species of flowers, different species of plants, or just to classify, or I go to my land, in my village, I just go for a walk in the evening. Okay, while walking through pieces of land, I keep the camera on. Then by the time I complete my walk, this camera should tell me, or this mobile phone should speak out that, Guru, quite interesting that your land area has some medical plants, a species of medical plant. There are some species of plants, which can be used for Ayurvedic medicine. But I am not good in that. Nobody is good in that. Not all of us are good in identifying whether plant is a medical plant or not. Can I think of an app? Can I think of some software tool which could be loaded onto an Android mobile phone so that whoever, even a villager, can carry it along and show the pieces of land and take the pictures of all plants, and system will help that farmer understanding that this has some greater importance for you. You can commercialize that plant. This is what we are talking about today. And that is what is called more specialized computing system. And because of machine learning with the support of AI, artificial intelligence, and today we have several tools, and one of the tools to make machine learning possible is a deep learning tool, which let me not get into that too much of that. Okay, this is some mathematical aspects of machine learning, right? So this is what an example for you, what is about learning, to make you understand what is called learning, right? Look at the pictures. You have about 4 into 3, 12 pictures here. Not all of them, belong to the same class. Some of them probably, if you look at the top left, it has got some images. Look at the top second, it appears to be an advertisement picture. Look at the top third, in the top row, third one, it is a picture of, a pickle box, but not for advertisement. It is a food item. The next one is another picture. Look at, now my question is, looking through all these 12 images, can you identify how many categories of images I am talking about? Can you identify how many different classes of images are there? Probably from the first row, third one is a food item. In the second row, second one is a food item. In the third row, third one is a food item, right? Food item. Can we think of identifying some of them belong to one class, some others belong to second class? And if such is the case, how many classes I am targeting? So then probably you understand that. Look at here, there are 3 basically. So first layer, first row are the pictures related to books. I call them as library related pictures. Look at the second row, those are the pictures of food items. Look at the third row, those are the pictures related to advertisement. If I can do manually, then what do? I take the pictures and then show the camera to my laptop. And finally, after showing all 12 pictures, the system laptop has to classify them, cluster them, group them into 3. So these are all related, these are all related, these are all related, and these 2 are unrelated. That's why they are placed in different groups. That is what is called learning. One type of learning, right? One type of learning, grouping of related things together into single group, or segregation, we call it as. Okay, so that is possible today, and we call it as a data clustering, right? So I think now it is a time to have a break for about 30 minutes. Let's stop for a while and meet back again at 11:45. Right? Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Dear participants, please join the link again at 11:45.
Thank you.
Thank you.